Hello, Cryptonauts, and welcome back to another episode of Cryptocurrency Chat. This is actually not April Fool's, it's April 2nd. April the 2nd of 2023, Sunday. We get to do these cool This Week in Coins and This Week in Crypto Twitter. Sadly, Blockchain Johnny is not here. It's just me, Jake Jabberley, by myself, and wherever Mike is, I hope he's doing well. Let's get right into the news. This week in Crypto Twitter, CZ says, ignore the FUD. After a CFTC lawsuit, Matt Damon redeems Crypto.com commercial. Whoa, way to go, Matt Damon. You rock. That's a pretty boy, Matt Damon. There he is. In the crypto media this week, the single biggest bit of news was the announcement that the Commodities Futures Trading Commission, or the CFTC, America's leading derivatives, that's a very derivative company, regulator, is suing crypto's top exchange by trade volume, Binance, along with CEO Changpeng Zhao, otherwise known as CZ, allegedly for unlicensed derivatives trading. Oh my gosh. The lawsuit doesn't end there. The exchange also stands accused of having insufficient anti-money laundering, AML, and know your customer, KYC, customer that is, controls knowingly evading or helping U.S. clients evade regulators and even trading against its own customers. You dirty dogs. The new lawsuit wasn't a huge talking point on crypto Twitter this week, however, probably since the industry already knows that federal enforcement actions against Binance by this point are like water off a duck's back. Probably don't care. As he did say, FUD. The exchange is also in the midst of ongoing Securities and Exchange Commission, Department of Justice, and Internal Revenue Services investigations. When the news broke, Zhao simply tweeted, it's not golfing 4, it's just the number 4. Which he, as he made clear in a tweet back in January, is shorthand for ignore FUD, fake news, tax, etc., blah, 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 blah. There's his quote. Crypto analytics company Nansen did some on-chain sleuthing and saw that Binance customers weren't all that fazed by this news either. Here's Nansen, about $852 million net outflow Binance in the last 24 hours. See exchange flows here. There's a little link to the quote. Also, keep in mind that on December 13th last year, Binance possessed $3 billion of net outflow in one day, including ETH, Ethereum, Polygon, BNB, Avalanche, Phantom, yada, yada, yada. Meanwhile, that day, the world of Gucci and Bored Ape Yacht Club collided in an announcement by the fashion house. Just last year, Gucci started accepting crypto at certain stores. Brilliant. Here's Gucci with their tweet. Continuing to explore the metaverse, the house comes together with at Yuga Labs. Stay tuned as a new narrative takes shape, blurring the boundary between the physical and digital. And there's a Gucci bottle of perfume, I guess. Crypto Slate data analyst James Stratton points out that Bitcoin's hash rate growth in the last 3 months has been the third highest estimate in the last 5 years, although the reason behind it mystified him. Hash rate is a metric for determining the combined computing power of the total Bitcoin network, and it generally climbs as much or as newer mining rigs get deployed. Here's James Stratton. On a 3-month rolling basis, the Bitcoin hash rate, canceling out the noise, of course, this is the third most aggressive upward adjustment in the past 5 years. Only on 2 occasions has there been more substantial growth, May 2021 at 70% coming off the China mining ban, and after 2019. Polygon launched the long-awaited mainnet for its new Polygon ZK-EVM network on Monday. Polygon ZK-EVM, or ZK-EVM, is the Ethereum scaling solution, which means that it processes transactions faster and cheaper than Ethereum's own mainnet. Lightning, that is making it lighter, not lightning like the Bitcoin network. The load for the world's most popular high-functioning smart contract-enabled blockchain. Ethereum's creator, Vitalik Buterin, sent a hidden message on the first transaction. And here's Sandeep Nawal talking about that. Buterin did the symbolic first ever transaction at a OX Polygon ZK-EVM, and it has a message in it, quote, millions of constraints for man, unconstrained scalability for mankind, end quote. Goosebumps! Oh my god! That's not all he did. Sankit Polygon says Buterin sent the transaction on a Polygon ZKM. He is a man of culture. Ensure that the gas limit is 6,042. British celebrity chef Gordon Ramsay became the latest addition to the cryptoverse that day. Gordon Ramsay tweets, the doors to Hell's Kitchen are finally open in the sandbox game. Get ready for an experience like no other with a holder's prize worth a pool of 50,000 sand. And here are a couple links he also included with a digital copy of himself. Michael Saylor, the founder and chairman of cloud software company MicroStrategy, was feeling good. He paid off a huge loan and bought more Bitcoin, as he always does. His company's total holdings today have an estimated value of $3.8 million. But that seems awfully low. Although last year his war chest contained a little less than BTC that was worth about $6 billion. I think this number should be billion and not million. I don't know how that ended up like that. But anyways, MicroStrategy, this is Michael Saylor's tweet, repaid a $205 million Silvergate loan at 20.2% discount. As of 3/23/23, MSTR acquired an additional 6,455 Bitcoins for about $150 million US dollars, at an average of $23,238 per Bitcoin, and held a 138,955,000 Bitcoin acquired for roughly $4.14 billion at an average of $29,817 per Bitcoin. Ooh, that's a lot to say. Anyways, he has a link to some more content there. Tether CTO Paolo Arduino shilled some UST on Wednesday. Here's his quote. And his tweet, USDT is resilient to the test of time. Tether is on track to have another record quarter, bringing its additional equity on top of reserves to a little over $1.6 billion and counting. Ask yourself, how many banks can say to be so over-collateralized? Answer, none. Fractional reserve by a good... Anyways, he continues. Gabor Guax, founder of the community-focused crypto loyalty platform Pointsville, compared the recent performances of two leading stablecoins and found two totally different stories. Here's his tweet. Tether USDT market cap increased approximately $9 billion over the past month. USDC that is, market cap has decreased by approximately $11 billion over the last 1 month. USDT reserves are now well over 2 times that of USDC at nearly $80 billion versus $33 billion respectively, and he shows some graphs. Coinbase dabbled in some political crypto propaganda on Wednesday, comparing the different regulatory climates in various first world countries to suggest that U.S. lawmakers are lagging. Here's the quote from Coinbase. 1 million tech jobs are at risk of going overseas as the U.S. goes down a path of regulatory uncertainty. The EU, UK, UAE, Hong Kong, Singapore, Australia, and Japan are all creative environments for crypto to flourish so that they can capitalize on the next wave of innovation. Meanwhile, U.S. Senator Elizabeth Warren launched her anti-crypto re-election campaign with some propaganda that day, and here's her tweet. I'm in this fight to put our government on the side of working families. Join a re-election campaign today. And here's a little video from her I'm not going to play. A video of Matt Damon explained his decision to do the widely panned Crypto.com commercial made the rounds on Thursday. In it, he tells an endearing anecdote of that redeems the crypto exchange a little. And here's his video. A Twitter account dedicated to in real life collectibles posted a breaking bit of news about French soccer player Kylian Mbappé. I hope I pronounced his name correctly. I apologize if I have not. So rare NFT. Judging by the replies, many were polarized by this. I think he meant this question. And here is a collectibles guru saying, breaking news, Kylian's unique 1/1 of when so rare card just sold at auction for $195,463.87 US dollars. Holy crap. This tops the all-time record for his most expensive physical card at $161,130. Which one would you rather have? I don't know. I'm not really that much into football, known as soccer in the U.S. Finally, Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong on Friday came out in opposition to a widely circulated open letter calling for a halt in AI research. What? The petition has so far been signed by Twitter, SpaceX, Tesla CEO Elon Musk, Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak, along with many other tech luminaries in both industry and academia. And here's Brian Armstrong's tweet. Count me among the people who think this is a bad idea. There are no, quote, experts, end quote, to adjudicate this issue, and many disparate actors will never agree. Committees and bureaucracy won't solve anything. As with many technologies, there are dangers, but we should keep marching. Okay, it's bad, but it's good. Mixed messages, dude. Moving on to This Week in Coins. Bitcoin and Ethereum survive CFTC's Binance crackdown. You might have expected CFTC's laundry list of allegations against bank to tank crypto prices, but that's not what happened. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Let's just look in. The news earlier this week that the Commodities Future Trading Commission, CFTC, is suing the largest crypto exchange in the world, Binance. We already talked about this in the other one. Instead, the prices of Bitcoin and Ethereum briefly wobbled after the news broke on Monday and then recovered, and Bitcoin is now up 3% over the past week to 28,410 as of Saturday morning, and Ethereum is up 4.2% to 1825. It's actually higher than that now, I believe. Most of the top 30 cryptocurrencies are in the same boat with no substantial change in either direction over the last 7 days, but two names post hefty rallies. Stellar XLM leaped 22% and currently trades around 11 cents US, 0.11, while XRP blew up 20% to 0.53 thanks to investor hope among the XRP army, and Ripple's endless case with the SEC might go Ripple's way. Yay! Maybe this will crush all those dumb lawsuits against exchanges saying that these things are in fact securities when they're not. CFTC is the United States' leading derivatives regulator. According to a lawsuit filed by a Chicago federal court, the federal agency accuses Binance of unauthorized derivatives trading by offering futures, swaps, and options on many leading cryptocurrencies. The suit claims that the exchange is offering these services to U.S. clientele despite not having registered with the regulator. It added Binance has taken a calculated, phased approach to increase its United States presence despite publicly stating its purported intent to block or restrict customers located in the United States from accessing its platform. Other allegations in the suit accuse the exchange of having insufficient anti-money laundering and KYC, as we said earlier. For its part, Binance told Decrypt on Monday that the lawsuit is unexpected and disappointing, as we would have been working collaboratively with the CFTC for more than 2 years. In coin politics, on Wednesday, the state of Texas introduced Senate Bill 1751, a bill that seeks to protect the state's grid during peak electricity loads. But the proposal could mean that local mining operations may soon lack the incentives that have made the state an attractive location for miners. This is something that I was personally looking into myself. The bill restricts Bitcoin miners from participating in a state-run demand response program that rewards miners for giving power back to the grid at peak times. Sorry, momentary block. It also blocks virtual currency mining from tax abatements, given what the large scale of growth in the virtual currency mining is already projected to occur in the state, according to the bill's sponsor, Senator Lois Kolkhorst, during Tuesday's testimony, who argued there is no need to subsidize the growth. That same day, U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission Chairman Gary Gensler, Uncle Gary, otherwise known, testified at the House Appropriations Subcommittee on Financial Services, I know it sounds exciting, and General Government, and said that the rules for making crypto compliant already exist in response to repeated calls from the industry by clear guidelines, but that the industry is still rife with noncompliance. Okay, noncompliance with currency that isn't real, as everybody seems to agree. I know, not everyone does. During the hearing, Gensler stuck to his guns in reiterating his belief that most cryptocurrencies are unlicensed securities. Yeah, sure they are. Frankly, of the 10 or 12,000 tokens, there are very few that don't have a group of entrepreneurs in the middle that the public is counting on. Those are securities under securities law. He obviously is insisting. Finally, across the pond, Bank of England's central bank digital currency, or CBDC, lead Katie Fortune, perfectly named, said that the CBDCs can be a bridging asset between TradeFi and crypto. CBDCs are an envisioned form of centrally issued cryptocurrency pegged and backed by the state currency, in case a digital sterling in this situation. In a talk at the City Digital Money Symposium, she said, "What you have today is I have a Santander account. I can go to a cash machine and take out the same cash my friend with a Barclays account takes out. I think that could be really powerful in the form of world stable coins and other digital forms of money, to have a central bank digital currency that can be bridging assets between all these different forms of money." I think this is still a very limited perspective, but we shall see. Okay, so here's all the rest of the news. Policymakers didn't regulate crypto because they thought it would die, Barclays head of digital policy says. And I just think this is the most ridiculous thing ever, because it's like, okay, so yes, Bitcoin technically started in 2009, and it is now, 14 years later. We've had two major rallies in the Bitcoin, in the coin sphere altogether. And they're only just now thinking, oh, this might be a thing. Does government really move that slow? Is that what the problem here is? I mean, we've had wars that lasted longer than this. So, I don't know. I mean, all right, so a lot of crap has fallen down in the last year. 2022 was a bad year for crypto. And it mostly had to do with thieves and swindlers and people that were, basically grifting the entire scene. And it makes you wonder if even, Coinbase and Binance are grifting. They managed to survive. They seem to have the money, but even we know that's not entirely true. So, I don't know. I think there is probably some truth to this, that they really didn't think it was going to be a thing that would just die on its own. But considering the amount of derision that's been going on in the world, I'm really not that surprised that cryptocurrency has taken off. Obviously, people with money have figured out it's a valuable thing, and people without money have figured out, hey, I can send my money without having to pay the bank. So people aren't stupid, despite the fact that the world belief is they are. So anyways, there's some more positive news as far as this goes. XRP surges on investor hope that Ripple defeats SEC. So there seems to be a lot of hope right now that the Ripple lawsuit is going to beat the SEC at its own question. And I think this is a much more important thing than just Ripple making a surge in its value, in that if Ripple or XRP does actually defeat the SEC on this, it will set a different precedent against all the other coins that Gensler is saying he thinks, that they are all securities. Because then they'll have to compare it explicitly to XRP, which won't really be that hard since XRP is a relatively popular coin, or take them individually one at a time, and that could take years. So they will probably use Ripple as the de facto poster child of this situation. And I'm so glad, because when this comes out and it proves it's not a security, then this thing that they thought was going to die will take off even more. So, moving on. So, one of the very first centralized exchange I ever used, Bittrex, shuts down U.S. crypto exchange due to regulatory environment, and I really don't blame them for this. We're already watching Binance get sued and Coinbase get accosted, and a whole bunch of other companies that were already doing business of this sort. I mean, BitMEX has been sued out of existence. And the people who ran it have been prosecuted, and pretty much every other major exchange is getting some kind of ding. Even though Bittrex was never really a very big exchange, really doesn't really move a whole lot of money compared to, even the top 20 exchanges. Heck, it's even less volume than DeFi in some cases. I can kind of see they're a relatively small group, and they're just like, look, we don't really want to mess with this. We wait till everything kind of levels out and it either becomes regulated or it doesn't, and we get a definitive idea. And once that happens, maybe we'll come back. It's a little disappointing me. Like I said, I've had coin with them for a very, very long time, since 2014. It's been almost a decade for me, and I'm kind of sad to see them go. But I completely understand their position. U.S. government sells $215 million in seized Silk Road Bitcoin. Now, how much do you think that is? It's about 10,000 Bitcoin. Another plan to dump another 1.1 billion. A lot of this comes from the hacker James Zong, who stole roughly 50,000 Bitcoin back when it was a lot less valuable. And now, at least at one point, that Bitcoin was worth 3.3 billion, and he was rolling in the dough. He actually managed to keep that coin and his identity out of the minds and the mouths of regulators in the U.S. for almost a decade. I mean, it's honestly really impressive. And I don't know if he just got greedy and figured, I need to move this stuff at some point. I honestly would have done. You got to do money laundering, right? That's the only way to tornado cash that money to make it usable if you're going to use it at all. So I don't know what he was getting into that made him decide to move it, but for whatever reason, they managed to find him and managed to get him to give it all up. So they're finally dumping that 1.1 billion. Like I said, they already dumped 215. They sold that, and now they're going to sell another roughly 50,000 Bitcoin. So if you want to get some Bitcoin at probably less than market prices, you might want to get in on this. All right, mentioning the Trump NFTs because, according to this article, the sales spike. Why is that? Because of his indictment. First president to ever be indicted. And you know, a lot of people that bought these NFTs were just buying it because of the fanfare that was going on with it. They're not really interested in Trump, but I'm sure plenty of people are. Remember, the entire price originally was only $100 per NFT, and at one point they hit nearly $1,000 per NFT. So whatever Trump was doing in this case, he realized he would actually make some money on it. Remember, they only sold, I think, 44,000 total NFTs. They kept 1,000 of them back. So if we do the actual numbers here, the original take expected was going to be $4.5 million, but at most, I guess it could have been as high as $45 million, which I'm sure the ex-president would not be disappointed to have even now with his indictment looming. So we'll stop with that. Don't really need to go into that. The thing I'm really interested in here is this Magic Eden's new Bitcoin NFT marketplace dominates the ordinals market. Now, we talked about this several times in the past episodes. So just after a week, Magic Eden now accounts for more than half of all ordinals subscription trading volume across all marketplaces. And this is awesome. Now remember, ordinals are not technically NFTs. NFTs are changeable, although, I mean, they're unique. They can be changed by the original printer. The difference is with ordinals, once you write it, you're done. You can't change it. It's written permanently to the Satoshi that you chose to write it to, and you can never change it. So in this case, these ordinals, and you notice that we talked about Bored Ape Yacht Club being written as ordinals to Bitcoin. A lot of people have been kind of not super thrilled about this because it's adding such a gargantuan amount of data to the Bitcoin blockchain. We were at, last I looked, this was probably a year ago, it was like 350 gigabytes for the entire size of the blockchain for Bitcoin. Now we're over 550 gigabytes, heading towards way up to a terabyte. And with more and more people adding ordinals to the blockchain, it's just going to keep growing bigger and bigger than it was even at its previous rate. So it's not totally terribly bad, but think about it this way. The last I looked, I don't know if this is still true, but last I looked, Ethereum's total blockchain was something like 16 to 17 terabytes. So easily 30 times larger than Bitcoin. But at this rate, could they catch up? Probably not. I don't think they'd ever catch up because Ethereum's just got so many things sitting on its back. But it's still going to make Bitcoin a little bit heavier. But it's still kind of neat because the ordinal concept is literally, like I said, permanent. You can obviously block it if you're running a node, but the neat thing about it in general is just the fact that you can actually put things onto Bitcoin. And people are doing this Satoshi hunting thing, which John has talked about many times. It's opened up this whole new concept of people looking for very unique Satoshis, and particularly if you're thinking about the Satoshis that were used to buy the Bitcoin pizza all those years ago. And we already figured out it was going to be quite a few. Remember, a Satoshi is roughly exactly 100 million Satoshis to a single Bitcoin. So how many did you use? 26 Bitcoins? Or was it 10,000 Bitcoins? Anyways, some ridiculous number of Bitcoins to pay with a pizza. So there'd be a gargantuan number of Satoshis involved in that set. But then there's also some kind of more unique Satoshis that people are looking for. So hopefully that will find a validity. So we're just really kind of stoked by the fact that there is a place where you can buy and trade and sell ordinals or even create ordinals easily on the marketplace. Magic Eden still lags behind Ordinal's wallet in terms of total daily transactions, although the trend over the past week suggests that Magic Eden is chipping away at that lead. Magic Eden is handling higher volume ordinal sales, and the long-standing link between DeGods and Magic Eden on Solana, even though DeGods is about to migrate from Solana to Ethereum. So we built our marketplace in a month. To take it across the finish line, we rented a giant Airbnb in California and brought over a dozen devs together as a most remotely company. We're proud to share our faces and tell our story. So this is really awesome. I'm just glad to see that Magic Eden is making a place for ordinals. Ordinals have only been around for a very, very, very short time, almost as short as ChatGPT. In fact, I think actually less time than ChatGPT, and it is growing by leaps and bounds. Way to go, ordinals. Okay, that's all we got for tonight. I wish my other co-hosts had been here. I had a chance to be here in the performance, but they were not. John is on vacation. Mike is building his business. We're grateful for both what they're doing. If you'd like to donate, we would appreciate it. You can check us out here on Bitcoin, to serve us on Bitcoin, Ethereum, Raven, and Evermore asset-aware wallets, Dogecoin, Litecoin, Monero, BAT, Binance if you wish. That's Binance Smart Chain, actually, so the secondary chain. And Matic, Polygon, otherwise known. You can also check us out on Patreon. We got lots of extra content over there for all the pre-show, post-show stuff. It goes on all of our interviews, anything else that was going in there. It's all in there. You can also, of course, donate, buy me a coffee, PayPal. You can check us out on Twitch. We're streaming on Twitch because it's mostly John's thing. I don't actually have access to his account in the same sense. I need to set up so I can totally stream to Twitch. So I apologize to anybody who missed out on this episode. We'll catch you again probably, well, I don't know if it'll be Wednesday, but probably next Sunday when John gets back. YouTube, Twitter, Discord, come on out, check us on Discord. I would really appreciate if you guys check that out because there's all kinds of neat things you can check out. We've got news, we've got jobs, real jobs, real crypto jobs, believe it or not. And then there's also the C3 Media token, which you can use to buy things, So come check us out there. You can always get us on Odyssey for free, no ads there, which is really amazing. And Reddit. So we are grateful for you guys listening, and if you'd like to give us a simple little thumbs up, say you like our show, we appreciate it. You can also subscribe if you please. Catch us every Wednesday and Sunday, and of course, interviews on Thursday. Thank you all. Stack, sats, and hodl. Adios.